What is SEO? What is SEO anyway? Of course, you're likely to expect me to say, well, it stands for search engine optimization, or it's the set of techniques that someone does to improve their search engine rankings, which both of those, of course, are true. But for this webinar, I want you to understand that SEO is war. It really is. I don't mean, obviously, that we have to hurt people. I'm not talking about being a mean, nasty individual. I am neither. But you do need to understand that you are competing for the same space as others. You're not competing alone. If you want to get on Google page 1 for a particular keyword phrase, you are going to find that that page is already filled with listings. In order for you to get on that page, you are going to have to boot somebody off. If you are lower on a page, maybe you're in position 7 or 8 on page 1 already for the term you're looking to optimize for, and you want to move up, you are going to have to outdo someone who's above you. It's just the way it is. So you need to have that mindset that basically all SEO is a battle, it's a competition. You have to do research not only for your own self, but you have to research the competition to know what they're doing right, to know what they're doing wrong, and to hopefully outdo them. That's the way this whole thing works. SEO is also not something that's a once and done operation. I'm sure you already know that, but unfortunately it would be nice that if it was something that you could just do once and leave alone, but that's not the case either. All right, here's a screenshot of just a regular search engine result page for the term auto repair. And I'm going to use auto repair or an auto shop in this webinar as just an example. So obviously, looking at the page, you can tell that there's a bunch of listings. There's some AdWords listings, some paid listings at the top. Here at the bottom left is some Google Places listings. There's some more AdWords down the right. There's the big Google map that's now showing to the top right. Regardless, there is only so much real estate on each search engine result page. So if you're looking to do organic SEO, again, you have to compete with others. You've got to boot somebody off to get on a page or outdo someone to improve. Of course, if you're doing paid ads like AdWords, you have to outdo others as well. That necessity doesn't go away. You have to outperform them in regards to click-through rates and potentially having to pay more money to outbid them as well. Regardless of whether we're talking about organic SEO or whether we're even talking about AdWords ads, if you look at this page, basically everybody is competing with everybody else. That's just the way it is. All right, here are some of the core SEO concepts that you have to have rock solid if you're going to succeed with SEO. First off is that each page is ranked independently of any other. So your website might consist of 5 pages, it might consist of 10, it might consist of 1,000, it does not matter. When you're looking to perform SEO techniques, you are not doing it to, just to the home page. You're not doing it to basically the website as a whole, even though there is definitely you should be thinking of the website as a whole, but when you rank or when you look to rank, you are looking to rank each individual page of your website around a set of keywords or keyword phrases, typically 2 to 5, 2 to 3 being what I do. Some people, like to go for a little bit more. Number 2, good keyword research is absolutely crucial. All SEO starts from the keyword level, meaning someone goes into Google or another search engine, they type what they're looking for, they click the search button, and the search engine returns to them the results page. It starts by a search, an internet searcher looking for a particular particular keyword phrase. So in order to do SEO well, you have to do good keyword research. It's absolutely crucial. Number 3, on-page SEO factors are still important. Some people will tell you forget on-page SEO, just to build lots of links. I find that a very unwise tactic. You really want to start with your on-page SEO, get that solid first, build a strong foundation, then go and build links and do other off-page SEO factors that we'll talk about in just a second. Backlinks are still incredibly important. Regardless of what you've heard, even after the Google Panda update, backlinks are still very important. my own experience in testing my friends still proves this to be true. So don't just throw, your backlinking strategies to the wind because you heard someone say that backlinks are no longer important after Panda. That's just simply not true. This last one is extremely important to understand. A lot of webmasters and even SEOs just completely blow it when it comes to this. The ultimate goal of SEO is traffic that converts, increasing traffic that converts. So some might tell you, well, no, the goal is to get, page 1 listing, position 1 listing on Google. Yes, provided that you optimize for a keyword phrase that brings targeted traffic that is likely to convert into sale or lead or whatever it is that you're looking for. If you're getting great rankings for keyword phrases that are either bringing no traffic or bringing the wrong type of traffic, you've blown it. You've not done your job. Even though you've gotten a great ranking, it's of no importance. It's not of any value to you. So don't forget that your ultimate goal is really getting an increase of traffic that converts. Some of the on-page factors, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, include the domain name itself, meaning that your domain name can include your primary keyword phrase. This isn't necessary by any means, but it is an on-page factor. In the United States, if you're a business, you're typically going to want a .com for a variety of reasons. If you're in the UK, you're going to typically want a .co.uk, etc. You want a domain name that is a top-level domain, a premium domain for your specific area. Also, the history of the domain name, and I'm going to mention a little bit about this after we get out of this particular area of the presentation. Domain history, including, how long has the domain name been active, how many different owners has it had, how many different registrars has it been registered with, how many different hosting companies has the domain name been hosted with, etc. There's all sorts of factors that come into play just when looking at the domain name itself, especially when you're looking to compare your particular domain that you're trying to rank against your competitors. There's Google Trust Rating, which includes partially what you can see in Google PageRank. It's easy to find out the Google PageRank for a particular page. But the trust rating goes deeper in that. A whole bunch of proprietary stuff that Google's not going to tell us. Basically, it's using to assign numeric values to websites and web pages in regards to what Google believes is the value of any particular website and or page. So just understand that there is more than just the Google PageRank is going to affect your website's ability to rank. On-page keyword relevance and LSI terms. I'm not going to go deep into this, but basically, obviously, your pages should include the keyword phrases that you are relevant for, that you are trying to optimize for. LSI just means that the search engines can find other terms on the page that it would expect to find that are in companionship with the keyword phrases. So I guess the easiest way to explain this is it used to be that SEOs would put a whole bunch of, just repeat keyword phrases one after another, and that would be it. Well, that's not natural. The robot is basically looking for, okay, if he's talking about, auto repair, do we find stuff about brakes, and do we find stuff about, oil changes, etc. It's looking for other terms that it can kind of try to get a snapshot view of, is this person writing unique, relevant content, or are they just trying to, fool us by keyword spamming? The content contained in your title tag, in your meta page description, and the actual page names, the actual URL itself. If each of those can include your primary keyword phrase at minimum, that would be a good thing. Heading tags like the H1, H2, H3, etc. If your keyword phrases can be wrapped in one of those heading tags, obviously, again, keyword usage on the page. Keyword placement, meaning that it finds some of your keywords towards the beginning of your page content, some spattered throughout, and towards the end. again, these aren't like monumental or extremely crucial, and you don't have to do every single one, but you just need to understand what some of the on-page factors are. More on-page factors include intelligent keyword targeting. Again, I said at the beginning, about 2 to 5 maximum per page. You'll pick up listings, indexing listings for other keyword phrases more than what you've optimized for typically. But if you try to go with the more is better approach, where, okay, well, if I can optimize this page for 3 keyword phrases, why don't I optimize it for 100? More is not better. You basically dilute your work. You dilute. It's called keyword dilution. You basically are thwarting your own efforts by trying to go after too many, basically optimizing for too many keywords for any one particular page. So 2 to 5 is a good range. 2 to 3 is what I stick to. More and more, it's becoming important in regards to the quality of your actual website code. So if you're not familiar, you can check your website over at the W3C validator, the World Wide Web Consortium validator. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just put in W3C validator and you'll find it. The validator will tell you whether your HTML and or CSS is valid. And it doesn't have to be perfectly valid, but the better your code is, the more likely you're going to have the ability to rank at least, or not get penalized for having just garbage code. Tied into that is page load times. Google especially is really looking for the visitor experience. So if your pages load fast, that's good for visitors. They're going to promote you more. If your pages take forever to load, that's bad for visitors. They're not going to promote you more because, again, Google especially is all about giving visitors the best experience possible. Tied to that is visit duration and depth, meaning that the search engines are looking for how long your visitors are staying on your pages and then how many pages they go through before they leave your website. So if they come on your website and they leave in 3 seconds, that's not good. If they come on your website, they stay on a page for 30, 60, 90 seconds maybe, they click a link to go to another page, they spend a little time there, they click a link from that to go to another page, they spend some time there, that's what you're looking for. Of course, it's also going to help your conversions. The more time anybody's on your website, the more likely you are to get the desired result. And lastly, on this page, quality, unique content. Now, the search engines might not, be able to know exactly what quality content looks like just by looking at, the bot, but they can tell uniqueness, and basically they can tell quality by looking at the visit duration, because if your content's really good, more than likely you're going to have longer visit duration. So quality, unique content is also really important for good quality on-page SEO. More on-page factors include image optimization, meaning that you are using potentially a keyword phrase in your image names, also in your alt text. I don't mean that you need to go spamming them, nor that every image needs to include a keyword phrase, etc. But intelligently, you should choose to include some of your keyword phrases in some of your images at least. Make sure that all of your images have alt tags, and if possible, optimize those as well. For one of my clients, we actually get a decent amount of traffic straight from Google Images because we have optimized her image as well. So it can also drive traffic from another source, in this case Google Images. Your on-page link text. By that I mean if you have a link from your own web page, basically web page number 1 that points to web page number 2, if you can include a keyword phrase that's relevant to the page that you're linking to, that's going to help your SEO as well. Frequency of content updates. It's not obviously impossible to rank a static website, but more and more the search engines basically expect to see some amount of updating happening to your website. So if you can include some dynamic content, basically do some amount of adding of new content, refreshing content, that can definitely help you. And of course, there's a whole lot more. Moving to off-page factors. Off-page factors primarily, again, is links. It is not all links, but it is definitely the biggest off-page factor. The quantity of links, obviously that's pretty easy to understand. How many links the particular page that you're trying to optimize is receiving. The quality of those links basically refers to the sites that are linking to you. Are they one-way links? Do they just point directly to your site, or do you link back to them, which is a reciprocal link? If it's a one-way link, you get, basically more value for it. Are these other websites, do they have good Google trust ratings or good Google page ranks, or are they on domains that have been around for a while, etc.? Basically, you have to take a step even deeper and analyze the sites that these links are coming from. The variety of your links, are they coming from a variety of sources? Are they all coming from one IP address? Are they coming from sites from around the world, etc.? Link trends, are your links growing, or did you build 100 links last month and none this month, or maybe 6 months ago and no links have been built in 6 months? You might have had a spike and all of a sudden it's just completely dropped off. Search engines expect to see some amount of growth. They expect to find new links, etc. if that web page is still valuable or relevant for the terms that you're trying to optimize for. More off-page factors still on the topic of links. Real important is the anchor text used. So if you're looking to optimize a page around auto repair, it would be good if the links that point back to your page included auto repair. Could be auto repair shop, auto repair with a modifier like the city name, etc. But it would be good if you can have anchor text that include the keyword phrases you're optimizing for. And of course, you don't just want to use one anchor text because that looks unnatural. And hopefully you pick up some natural links along the way too, but which you can't control, obviously. But for those that you can control, you want to stick to, primarily to your primary, maybe a couple of other variations. You also want to build links that are pure URL links. So no anchor text at all, starting from the full HTTP : all the way through the URL of the page that you're linking to, because the search engines just think it looks unnatural if every single link they find is an anchor text link, especially if every link they find is an anchor text link that contains your primary keyword phrase. All right, links to inner pages. So going back to just the whole core understanding, you're trying to link each page for a specific set of keyword phrases, and you should be building links to those pages, not just pointing all links to your home page. Okay, more off-page factors, citations. This isn't specifically a link, but basically where you're building a business listing or some type of a listing off your site, maybe on a directory site, etc., that references your business that it can find elsewhere. Just helps to increase the trust factor. More off-page factors include bookmarks, both those done inside of the browser and social bookmarks from social bookmarking sites. CTR of indexed listings. So basically, just like AdWords, the search engines can tell if a page loads and the organic listings are on the page, they know which listings are getting clicked on. So if they've shown that particular search engine listing page 100 times, and your listing never got clicked on, not even once, especially if it's in the top 3 or 4 positions, your site's going to start to look to be a little bit suspect. Nobody appears, again, going back to visitor experience, nobody appears to care about your particular listing. This is why it's really important when you write your page descriptions for each page that they not only include your relevant keyword phrases that you're optimizing for, but that they are also well written. They include some call to action if possible, some reason why the visitor might want to visit your page as opposed to your competitor sites, speak to the benefit behind them, etc. All right, and here's the last page of this section. So going back to this, as SEO is war, you need to learn to choose your battles well. So obviously, you can't optimize for every keyword phrase under the sun, but when you do your research, take into account that, again, this is a battle. You have competitors. You may or may not want to even compete across some keyword phrases. There may be some keyword phrases that you simply are not going to win. Basically, you're picking a battle you can't win. You're maybe competing against a page just filled with top-level heavy hitters that all have huge Google trust, and they've got 10-year-old domains, and they got hundreds of thousands of links, etc. My suggestion to you is, well, you choose a different battle and look at your keyword phrases, find something that you can legitimately compete at. Don't basically shoot yourself in the foot right at the beginning, especially if you're dealing with large sites that have huge marketing budgets. All right, with that, this entire webinar was really set up to give you some understanding of how to use the Rankerizer and Backlink Cloner pieces of software in SEO research, and I'm definitely going to cover those. But I wanted to cover this core first, and then I'm going to talk just a little bit about keyword research. This really isn't a webinar on keyword research, but as all SEO is wrapped around keyword research, I think it would be wrong for me just to skip it in total. And I'm hoping that you're going to see a couple of little cool things maybe that you haven't seen before. So while there are literally hundreds of pieces of keyword research tools out there, Word Tracker, Market Samurai, etc., the list goes on forever, I'm not going to show you any of those. I'm going to stick with a couple of free applications, Google Keyword Tool being one of them, and then just show you a couple of different ways to use them that you may or may not have seen before, especially when I get to the next free tool here in just a second. So I'm going to start this demonstration basically with just the understanding that I'm going to try to rank a particular domain that is of a client. Now, this is not my client. I have no connection with the website I'm about to show you, but I did a little research and I'm just going to show you something here. So if I type into Google for auto repair, we're going to see a couple of things. The first thing is, we have the AdWords ads top and right. We've got the maps. We've got a bunch of places, listings, and then we start the standard organic here below. But I want you to notice something here on the left. You'll see that there's a location. So Google has picked up, it knows where my IP is coming from here in Southern California, and it's set it. Well, one of the reasons why a lot of these keyword tools aren't perfectly accurate and they can't be accurate is because Google is specifically, and some of the others too, are basically changing the content based on the user's experience. So this particular company I'm going to talk about is in the city of Corona, which is about 20 minutes from me. And so before I do the search, I'm going to just show you something here. In the places listings right now at the top, we see Chino Auto Tech. If I click this link to change the location to Corona, and we search again, well, we get a totally different set of results. Different results in the AdWords ads. There's still a map, but all of a sudden all the places listings, they went to the bottom rather than being right at the top. And the top places listing is no longer the Chino Auto Tech, it's Harvey's Auto Tech. And then Inland Smog, and you can see that these are coming from Corona addresses. It's giving me listings that are relevant to the geographic location that I've selected. So if you're doing work for a client, remember to set your area to their area before you're doing your searches. This is going to give you at least a more accurate view of what you can expect that visitors that are in and around that area are going to find. Of course, this is completely, you can throw this completely out if you're dealing with a global business, if you're trying to optimize an e-commerce website that is looking to rank globally, then just forget everything I just said. But if you're looking to basically do SEO for a local business, especially one like an automotive repair shop that most likely is going to get business from its own city and maybe a few of the surrounding cities, this is important to do. All right, I'm actually going to put in the modifier. I'm going to put in the city name. And I guess just a caveat, a back drop to this is, if you're looking to rank for local businesses, you'll almost always find that there's more traffic behind the keyword phrase and then the location than there is to start with location. So by that I mean auto repair Corona. more than likely we'll get more search volume than Corona Auto Repair. Just mostly natural for people to put in what they're looking for first, and then they start to drill down. That's a good tip. So I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm looking at page 1, and I don't want to do page 1. If I was looking for basically to get this person as a client, I would either find a lower page 1 listing or I'd find a page 2 listing. In this case, I'm going to look at this website here. You can see I've already been on it. So coronaautorepair.org is the sample website that I'm going to discuss right now. And again, this is not a real client. I have no connection with this company whatsoever. So just as an example, I'm going to use them as my example client site. And the next thing we're going to do is find a couple of competitors. So I could look at page 2, but I really don't want to. I really want to look at page 1 if at all possible and see who's ranking over here. All right, so there is corona-autorepair.com. Oops. Just going to paste them into my super high-tech notepad. I hope you got a good chuckle over that. And we'll look at one more. I would go definitely deeper if I was doing this for a real client, but we don't have time for that. So here's another one. This is also a real business that's inside of Corona. You don't want to be choosing like, I guess I should back up, like super pages, yellow, USA, etc. We don't want to mess with those insider pages. I'm not looking for those for competitive research. Those aren't going to help. I'm looking for as close a competitor as I possibly can as a real business to the one I'm trying to list. All right, so we got a couple of competitor websites. We've got our client sites, again, for the example. We're going to pick up some keywords real quick. And how we're going to do that basically is, let's see here. I guess I should have. Now we'll just jump over. So we'll go to Google Keyword Tool.com. This is not a site owned by Google. It's a very smart entrepreneur, but it's easy to remember. If you go to Google Keyword Tool and then click this top left link, you'll go to the real tool. Of course, if you have an AdWords account and you're signed in, you'll get more data, but I'm just going to assume that you don't have an AdWords account and just show you how we can use this for free anyway. So first we have to put in the CAPTCHA code and hope that it's right. Instead of searching for a keyword phrase, I'm going to search around a website, and I'm going to start with the client's website, the sample client's website. Paste that in the website box, hope that my CAPTCHA is correct, hit search. Okay, so it found 50 keyword ideas. It will find up to as max 100 using this variety without being signed in, but it found 50. Pay no attention, or at least don't believe that these search volumes are anywhere near accurate, especially when you're searching under broad match. They'll get closer to being accurate if you want to take off broad and put on exact match, but I really don't care about the real search volume itself. I'm just looking for kind of like guides. If you click global monthly searches, you can do the same thing with local, but if you click global monthly searches, it will rearrange it such that the higher search volume terms are at the top and the lower are at the bottom, and that may help you know which terms you want to at least start off with. But it's not imperative that you do that at this point either. I'm just showing you basically how to build a little keyword list that you can use. So Google is basically telling us that these 50 keyword phrases, they believe that this website is relevant for these 50 keyword phrases. And we're going to use these when we do a little bit of work in Rankriser here in just a little bit. So what you can do, since there's only 50 of them, and Google is going to show you, you can see down here, it's going to show you 50 per page. We don't need to expand it. I'm going to click on the keyword box. It's going to highlight all of them. Excuse me. Take a quick drink. Once they're selected, I'm going to check View as Text. I'm going to drop down to Selected, and it's going to put those in a in a clipboard area. For me, most of the time, even though they're all highlighted initially, it doesn't really work for me. So I click off of it, and then I Control A, select it myself, Control C to copy it, and then I'll click Done. I'll open up my working notepad, and I'm going to paste that list of 50 straight from Google. So again, Google is telling me that it believes my sample URL, the one that I'm talking about, I'm going to try to rank for, is relevant for these terms, and that's important. So beyond that, I'm just going to put a little spacer so I know that those initial ones were from the client site. What I can do is I can also grab, to expand my list, I can grab my competitor URLs, and I can do the search again. And this is a great way to build your keyword list really fast, even without paid pieces of software. In this case, it found 66 ideas. So here's a trick. When you come to the bottom, tell it to show rows 100. That'll show all of them. Click the keyword button to select all of them. View as text. Choose selected, Control A, Control C. And then now, basically, I've grabbed 66 from the second site. Now, are there crossovers? Are some of these the same? Absolutely. You can see the first one, car service and repair, these are both the same. And I'm going to show you how we deal with that in just a second with another free tool. I'm going to put a thing down here. I'm not going to do the third one, you get the idea, but I'm going to put a combined list that's going to combine the keywords from both my first two searches right here. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to skip over to a website that is found at jumbokeyword.com, and this is primarily set up for AdWords advertisers, but it's great for SEO too. So if you don't know about it, Jumbo Keyword's a cool little functionality. No sign-in, no opt-in, etc. You just come over here and have fun. It's not a perfect tool, but it's a very good tool. You click on the Jumbo Keyword tab, it opens up this. There's a basic, advanced, and ad maker tab. There's a lot of functionality here. I'm not going to go into any of this. A lot of this, I don't have time to go super deep, but hopefully what I show you will be of interest to you. So right now, we've got these two sets of keywords. The first list was a list of 50. I'll start from the bottom. I'm going to copy that, Control C. I'm going to paste into this box. I'm going to hit return. I'm going to go back to my notepad. We're going to start with the second section. Second section of 66, Control C. And I'm going to paste it right underneath the other. So now I've pasted in right now, it's at 116 keyword phrases, but plenty of these are duplicates, and we don't want duplicates. They just muck everything up. So you click the auto dedupe box right here, and this will allow you to quickly expand your keyword phrases for AdWords with broad, phrase and exact match, or phrase and exact, or just broad, etc. There's a whole bunch of functionality here, and if you're not already knowledgeable with AdWords, I apologize. You'll have to do a little bit of study in regards to how AdWords works. But basically, after clicking the auto dedupe, if you just click broad again, that way it won't put any quotation marks or square brackets around our text. Just click broad again. What it's going to do is it's going to actually dedupe that list for us. So if I Control All and Control C for copy, if we go back here under my combined list, I paste that. Now to show you what we got basically out of the combined list, I'm going to copy just the combined list elements, and I'm going to open up Edit Plus, which is a text editor, and I'm only using this as opposed to Notepad. I'm not saying you have to go get this. I'm just showing you because it has line numbers. So I'm going to paste, and you're going to see what happened. Right? We ended up with 97 keyword phrases. So we started with 116, and we basically dropped 9 of them. 9 of them were dupes. So very quickly, using nothing more than the free Google keyword tool and Jumbo Keyword, we came up with a solid list of 97 keyword phrases that we can basically use as a starting point. And of course, if we put more competitor URLs, we'll get more keyword potential, and we can put those all into Jumbo Keyword and use the dedupe feature really quickly just to clean them up and give us a good solid little list. So I'm hoping that was cool. There is a lot of opportunity with this tool. I'm going to show you just you can play around this to your heart's content. You can't break anything, but I'm going to show you one little cool thing here. So a lot of times people ask me how I begin doing keyword or doing SEO basically for a client. And the first thing I do surprises many. First thing we do is we actually advertise on AdWords. Seems kind of strange to the uninitiated because, well, aren't you looking for free organic traffic? Yes. But like I said before, I'm not just looking for any traffic. I'm looking for targeted traffic that converts. If it doesn't convert, if it doesn't actually do something valuable for me or my client, I don't want any part of it. I'm not looking to get rankings just to get rankings, just to pat myself on the back or tell my client, look how awesome I am. I just got a great ranking for you. When in the back of my head, I know that it really means nothing for their business. That's not good business. We're looking to actually get good targeted traffic either for ourselves and or if we're working for clients, we want to actually do good work for them to increase their business. And if you do, you will make money, they will make money, you'll stay with them long term. That's just the way it is. You take care of people. So we start with AdWords, an AdWords campaign right out the gate because it's going to help me find more keyword ideas. And in addition to that, if I'm using conversion tracking, it's going to tell me, what real impressions, what real type of traffic is available around a certain set of in a certain keyword phrase, as opposed to these numbers, which, like I said, they're good for just comparison, but don't trust them. Don't think that you're going to get anywhere near 450,000 searches if you are in position 1 for car service and repair. It's just my experience, not going to happen. But if we go back to the Jumbo Keyword tool, again, talking about AdWords, it'll help you basically figure out how much is real traffic behind any one keyword phrase, and more specifically, if you have conversion tracking on, does this traffic convert? What does it do when it gets to this site? And once I know that, once I know the keyword phrases that are really bringing traffic and are really bringing meaningful traffic, then we use that intelligence to basically go back and start doing our on-page and then off-page SEO. I hope that makes sense. AdWords is a very powerful tool for SEO, and it's something that I would suggest that you look into. Of course, you might find that you have a strong ROI straight through AdWords, and if that's the case, then of course you can talk to your client about continuing an AdWords campaign if you can show them the metrics that say, look, if you spend $1, you get back, $1.25 or $1.20 or whatever the case is. If they're making a positive ROI on their ad spend, most, though not all, business owners will be smart enough to give you an ad budget to continue that practice. All right. So before we get off of Jumbo Keyword and we start looking at Rankerizer and Backlink Cloner, let me just show you this. If you're ranking for a local website, I said before that you can use the city modifiers or some geographic modifier to your keyword lists. Well, you really don't want to have to manually type all those in. So if you go to the Advanced tab, and let's see, pull the scroll bar down here, there's a bunch of different opportunities here that will make sense to you if you're an AdWords advertiser. It may not make any sense if you're not. But if you come down to the very bottom, you'll see this area. It says Add, and then there's a field, and it says Before Keywords, or if you click the drop down, After Keywords. Okay, here's how you do this, and I'm going to tell you that there's a little quirk with this tool, and if you just pay attention to what I'm telling you right now, it'll make this easy. So I want to put the term Corona, I want to put it after the keywords. Well, if I wanted to put it before, and I could put it before and after, that would work too. If I want to put it before, I make a space after the last character. Otherwise, I know from using this tool, it's going to butt this city modifier straight up to the first keyword, which obviously isn't good. So if you're doing before keywords, make sure that you put a space after your modifier. If, however, you're going to do it after the keywords, then you don't really need the space after, you need it before. So put a space first and then your modifier, click Add, and very quickly you're going to see that it's put the modifier Corona very nicely behind each one of our keyword phrases, and since I added the space, it put it in appropriately. And of course, if I copy this to my running clipboard, to my notepad, I can just go right underneath and put that in, and now basically I've just doubled my list. I went from just under 100 to almost 200. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Just a little way that you can expand your keyword lists really quickly, efficiently, and without any cost. All right, so I'm going to jump over now back to softwares, and we're going to look at both the Rankerizer, and we're going to look at Backlink Cloner after this. So Rankerizer, what is Rankerizer? Rankerizer basically is a tool that's going to help you track your organic listings for a particular website URL and a set of keywords. And the cool thing is not only does it track them, it'll actually track them down to 10 pages deep. So typically there's 10 organic listings on a page. 10 deep is 100 listings. A lot of tools won't go that deep. So this is cool in that if your client site is found on page 6, this tool will find it. Generally, it's not perfect, whereas a lot of tools won't. That's the first thing. The second thing is it will actually allow you to, as you continue to run updates, it'll allow you to run reports and see real cool graphs, etc. And that's very, very cool. So when you open Rankerizer, you have the ability to either start a new project or click an open project. This is what you want to pay attention to, step 1. Step 2, this is a paid offer, and unless you want to invest in Brad Callen's SEO Link Find, which I have no personal firsthand knowledge of his thing. I've heard some good things about it, but I've never put any sites inside of this. But just realize that this thing you don't need to pay attention to at all unless you want to start looking at basically buying links through Brad's service. All right. So start a new project by clicking the New Project button. Give your project a name. My suggestion to you is that you name your projects with the actual web URL. And let me just double check here real quick, see if I put one in here already. I did. I created one already for coronaautorepair.org. So we're going to load this project. But if you don't load it, let me cancel this real quick. Let's just say you want to start a new one. You basically, I would suggest you name it like xyzdomain.com. This is the site that I'm looking at ranking. The name of the site, of course, is going to be xyzdomain.com. And then you basically add your keywords. Again, it says 1 per line, so which is a cool way. We have these keywords already exactly, in that order. Just paste your keywords in there, and now your keywords are added, your project's added. You just simply click next, and it's going to create it. Well, I don't want to do that. We've already got one open, so we'll click to open a project, and I'll select the coronaautorepair.org, and I'll click load. All right, so I only searched around 2 keywords just to make it super fast. We'll put some more keywords in here in just a second. You can ask it to check rankings across Google, Yahoo, and Bing, or just any one of them, etc. Or you can try all 3, etc. You get some warning if you're trying to do all 3 at once. I'm either just going to search them one at a time, or I'm just going to search just Google. So I just have Google ticked here right at the moment. The project right at the moment only includes these 2 keyword phrases. We'll add some more from our list, and how we do that is basically clicking this box. So for the moment, let's just get some keywords. We'll take these right here for time's sake. Of course, the more you take, the longer it's going to take to fetch the results. But this particular software isn't limited in regards to how many you can select, which is amazing for a free tool. Most would have some type of a limit and then try to get you to go into a paid tool, but at least at the moment this doesn't have it. So click Add, and you'll see that it's added those keywords to the list. I've got my search engine selected. I can even choose this box if I want to auto run it once a day. As long as the machine's on and Rankerizer is up, it'll run it in the background, which is cool. I'm just going to click Start. Okay, you can see that we have a progress. Right now it's at 8%, almost half. And we're done. Okay, so what it's basically telling me is at the moment, it only found, of these keywords, it still only found the top 2 listed for this particular website. So Auto Repair Corona, it says, is listed in position 17 on Google, and Corona Auto Repair is listed in position 9, which more than likely would mean it's on page 1. Don't assume that, though. That's not always the case. These little arrows, if you click on them, it will take you to the Google listings and show you where it actually found the occurrence. It'll show you the ranked URL. In this case, they're both coming from the home page. If it was a subpage, it would tell you the actual ranked URL. It will also tell you how many backlinks it found that point to the individual page. Of course, this makes no sense, right? I mean, 30 backlinks are pointed to the home page, and then all of a sudden on the second one, none are pointed to the same URL. So again, it's a good tool. There's a lot of value to it, but of any of these tools, I have not found one of them that's accurate 100% of the time. It just simply doesn't happen. Anyway, one of the cool things you can do is use this tool to obviously track your rankings over time, to know if you're improving or not. So it's good for your own SEO. It's also good for clients, because if you click this graph icon down here in the bottom, it's going to show you a graph. Now, I only just started this update just yesterday while I was playing around with it, which is why it's really got no nice little graph. But if you track this over time, you're going to see the position. Right now it's showing at 17, right? So if you start doing some work and it started to go to 10, this thing would start climbing, etc., and you could show that to your clients. If you look at links, it will show you right now it's got 30 links, and again, over time it would show you whether your links were dropping or improving. This is all really good data. This is really good data for a number of reasons. It's good data not only to track your own websites, to know, if your work is paying off. It's also good because if you have offline clients, one of the things you're going to want to do is keep in some amount of communication with them, especially unexpected communication, where they necessarily don't expect you to be communicating with them, and you send them a report or an email, hey, just wanted to let you know that this is what's going on. That reassures them that you're a professional and that you're actually performing the services that they're paying for, which is going to help them stick with you longer term, definitely longer than they would if you weren't giving them any feedback whatsoever. This is also really good information if you want to do some lead gen. So again, I have no contact with coronaautorepair.org, but if you found them on page 2 and you ran Google keywords for the keywords that Google said their page was relevant for, if you ran them all and you got this report, you could either export your findings, which I'm not going to cover, but it's down here under export, which is the data, and I think the history is the graph. You can send that information, in an email. Hey, I did some preliminary research. Google says that your website is really relevant for these 50 terms, but I only found that you're ranked for 2 of them. If you'd like help, getting better rankings and or more business from the search engines, I can certainly help you. So that it's basically just a little competitive tool that you can use for leads. All right. So that's what Rankerizer is. It is basically just a way to track your ranks. I'm going to go ahead and close it. We'll move on to Backlink Cloner. So this tool, again, this is brand new. I've only had it for a few days, but the more I play with it, the more I like it. This tool is going to help you find more information about competitors, find out where they're getting their backlinks from, help you find opportunities where you can then piggyback basically on what they've already done and potentially build some links for your own sites. And of course, if you're tracking this across a variety of your competitors, you can start outdoing them. There's a number of different ways that you can start this process. If you have a top level, a main vertical keyword like auto repair, you can type it in the keyword box. Once that's done, you can click the auto scrape and analyze backlinks box. You can choose at the moment to search either globally or in the United Kingdom. I don't know if they're going to add more geographic areas later, but that's the options right now as I make this video for you. And then you can choose to scrape Google results. So this is going to go out. It's going to find the top 10 organic listings for the term auto repair, and this is only relevant for Google. This isn't using basically finding results from Yahoo and Bing. It's going to show you the amount of backlinks it found to each one of the websites, and then it's going to find the specific referring URLs. These URLs are referring links, or basically showing links that point back to these websites. So that's how it works. And right now it's still running data. It's probably mad because this and GoToWebinar is open, but it's still running data in the background. So what I'm going to do, I'd like to let the whole thing run, but there's just too many links. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it. Just wanted to show you how it works. So the first website is really about.com. It's coming from a subdomain. I wouldn't pay too much attention to this as a competitor. Not that you can't still find links through it. You certainly can, but it's not really a competitor. You're not more than likely going to outrank about.com. Midas.com, obviously another big company. Haynes.com is a big company. Service KOW I've never heard of, etc. Pet Boy is a big company. 2 Car Pros I've never heard of. Trust My Mechanic I've never heard of. But anyway, regardless, it found these 10 websites ranked for auto repair, and we have the ability to analyze their backlinks and see if we can find places that we can build backlinks for our own business, which is what we want to do with it. So if you click on any one of these listings, I'll click on Haynes that says it has 66. If you just single click on it, it will load all of the links that it found here to the right. So these backlinks are all pointing to servicekow.com. If we clear the filters, it'll go back to the original list and show us that all of these URLs are referring links to these 10, but you don't know which ones. So if you just wanted to find which ones are referring to one of these URLs, we'll just use 2 Car Pros because it's the smallest. It's 19 links. Single click on it, it'll show you the links that are pointed to this URL. If we choose to analyze backlinks, It's going to research the links that we've selected. It's going to give us some indication potentially of the page rank of the where the link was found. If you see negative values, I've been told by the creator Jason that this means that the page it's coming from may no longer be indexed, which makes the link a lot less valuable. So even a page rank 0 would be better than a -1, because at least this page, at least per the software, is indexed. Anyway, it's done its task. You'll see that this isn't all that impressive, but it did find one backlink opportunity right here. It says it's coming from a vBulletin forum, audi-sport.net. So if we double-click this listing, it's going to open that page. It's going to open that page in a browser, and it's basically saying that this link, this good link that we might be able to add for ourselves, is coming somewhere from this page. So what you can do with this data, basically, and of course it's a lot more impressive if you've got hundreds of these, and of course if we analyzed all of these, we would have hundreds of these, hundreds of backlink opportunities. When you're done with running the reports, you click the disk icon. You can choose to save the file, SEO sample. You can choose to save the file. It's going to save it as an Excel CSV file. It can be opened in Excel. It can also be opened in OpenOffice. I forget what their spreadsheet software is called. So if we save that to the desktop, you'll see that it's down here. And if we opened it, it's only going to save the options that have a yes. Basically, there's a backlink opportunity. Then what you can do is take this list and either work them yourself, or you can send them to an outsourced provider and ask them to build links for you. Tell them to visit these URLs. You can even sort them in PageRank by clicking on the PageRank value. Which of course, you can see that it's not. Oh, I see. I was going to say it's not working, but that's not true. I see what it did. It sorted the yes to the top. I thought something was weird. Actually, although it looks like it's going in reverse order. Okay, now it's putting the negative values up there. Not a perfect thing, but you get the idea. Especially if you have, you know, PageRank 3, 4, 5, 6. I've seen it work properly, but it's not showing up exactly as would be most valuable here at the moment. But you can sort it. But when you save it, it only saves the yeses, and then, like I said, you can use that yourself or send it off to an outsourcer and have them start building links for you, which of course is, going back to our SEO discussion, still a very, very valuable thing to be doing, especially if you can build good quality links coming from quality environments from a variety of sources. So I hope that makes sense. We're almost done with normal time. I'm going to have a couple minutes for questions and answers, but let's see here. I guess we can talk about a couple of other things. If you don't put in any keyword phrase whatsoever, you can click this plus icon, and you can start the search from a website. So let's say we wanted to start this back, since we grabbed some competitive data. Maybe we want to grab, I don't know, we'll try Johnny Lightning. I don't know that I ran this one before. This will either be helpful or not. We'll see. So maybe we want to use this competitor's website to analyze specifically. Oops. I should have clicked this little broom, this brush icon first. Let me clear that. If you click this, it's going to clear everything. And we click the plus. Again, we'll just paste the same competitor URL. We'll click to add website. Task is completed, and basically now we need to have it scrape and analyze. I'm going to click the auto scrape, search results. Oh, I guess you can't do it that way. All right, so we do this. All right, so it's analyzed the 18 backlinks that it's found. Well, it scraped them. We'll click the analyze backlinks. going to go analyze those links. And you can click the Analyze Social Backlinks if you'd like, and it'll see if it can find occurrences of links coming from Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, and LinkedIn as well. Just a little more competitive data that can be helpful, especially if you're doing social media marketing for a client or trying to encourage them to. Right? So this company itself obviously is not engaged in social media marketing. There's no links found across any of these social networking sites. However, of these, you can see that there's a couple of potential backlinking opportunities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yeses right here. So this one little competitor website, again, if we decide to put those in PageRank order, you can sort by traffic order if you want, etc. And if you want to clear everything, you just simply clear filters and it'll put it back to default. So I think that pretty much covers it. This is a really simple but very powerful tool for analyzing the backlinks of your own sites and or competitors. And of course, because it's finding the backlink opportunities, to be able to export that list, to save the list and send it off to an outsourcer to build links for you is in my opinion super awesome. So let me close this one down. Let me open my browser again. We'll go back to just we'll go back to Google, and I'll open it up for questions. So if you have questions in regards to this, anything I've talked about, or SEO in general, I'll answer that. Let's see here. All right, Rob made a comment that you do basically just a little bit more than the next person, and that definitely is a strategy to help you improve SEO. Of course, it'd be even better to do a lot more than what they're doing, because that way you basically give yourself some padding, make sure that whoever else is behind you has to play a lot of catch up, not just do a little bit more to basically regain, because it's typically easier for someone to regain if they've already been there than it is for you to hold a position. So let's see. Rob says, to what degree do you see yourself using these tools every day in your SEO activities? Well, if you know anything about me, you know that my business is very diverse. I do SEO. I do see myself using these tools on a semi-regular basis. However, I am not someone who's hardcore every single day involved in SEO for my clients. I mean, I do it every day for my clients, but I don't necessarily have to check everything every single day. My business includes a variety of offline clients. It also includes a huge amount of product creation for the internet marketing space, both for offliners and others. It also includes copywriting. We do a lot of website building. So we do a whole bunch of stuff, not just SEO. So I don't want to mislead you in that. We do definitely do SEO. I do AdWords campaign creation and management, but I am not just a pure SEO. A pure SEO obviously is going to be doing this kind of stuff, day in, day out. But for most local businesses especially, this isn't something that you have to stay on top of daily. This is a couple a month, once a month kind of an activity. Check on things, make sure that things are going right, make sure that you're still building links, track your results, measure results, talk to your clients, let them know what's going on, etc. That's pretty much how the local market goes. Let's see. Regarding conversion to boost ranking that assumes use of Google conversion tracking, what other methods would convey conversions to the search engine bots? To a bot itself, they're not really looking for conversions so much. What they're looking for is visitor experience. So the only real conversion kind of thing that they're mostly monitoring, and I'm sure there's probably more than this, but at least just from the top of my head, we talked a little bit about click-through rate. So just like you can measure how many impressions were shown through an AdWords ad and how many times people clicked on your ad, the search engines, especially Google, can choose or to look at how frequently are people clicking on your search engine listing, even your organic listing, to view your page after being shown it as part of the search engine and result page listing. So that's one conversion metric. They were shown a listing, did they or did they not click, what percentage of people that see the listing click, etc. And of course, you know, they can go deeper with heat mapping, etc. But in terms of conversion tracking, what I'm really talking about is not the bots. I'm really talking about my own self as a user. I want to help myself and my clients drive traffic that is going to be meaningful, traffic that's going to become a lead or become a paying customer, etc. That's the goal. So, of course, you can have a variety of conversion tactics to do that, whether you're using AdWords, whether you're using your own conversion tracking software. There's a truckload of those on the market to track conversions. Could be something more simple. Could be the fact that you're driving traffic to a page and you're asking them to call a phone number. Maybe you're using a virtual number. You know, could be through, you know, Call 8, could be through Vumber, could be through some other trackable phone number, some other virtual number that you can track. If you're driving them to a page and the goal is to get them to call, you can use a trackable phone number. Maybe your goal is to get them to a page and have them opt into your SMS list, you can track that. Maybe your goal is to get them to opt into an email list, you can track that. So as long as there's some ability to track conversions, whether it's high tech or low tech, you know, call this number and use this coupon code. You know, if someone at the business is listing the coupon code every time someone calls, then you know what's generating the traffic, etc. So tested advertising, tested marketing is where it's at. If you can't test your marketing, you need to figure out a way to test it, because otherwise you're just basically throwing money and time blindly at something and hoping that it's working, as opposed to knowing what it's working. And there's really no reason for doing that, because there are just way too many applications out there, either through technology and or just simple intelligence that you can use to track metrics.